How's it going? I'm Josh. I'm gonna take a try at trying to make a YouTube video on how to change the driver's side front CV axle on a 99 Isuzu Vehicross. I've changed it before on this one, but it's kind of a toy, and after 3 years it broke. It's the same as a Honda Passport, Isuzu Trooper, and Vehicross. Whenever I first did on Passport about 5 years ago, I couldn't find a video on it, so figured I'd try. I've actually already done it, but I didn't make an introduction video. So if I can figure out how to put all these videos together and get it on YouTube, then hopefully it'll help someone out. Alright, so here's a quick little look with the tire off. When I did this last time, I changed everything under here, so it's a little bit easier, but now I'm not planning on doing that. So CV joint right there broke, and that bracket right here is the problem. So I don't know what all vehicles have this design, but I do know the Troopers, Passports, Rodeos, and the Vehicrosses do. Yeah, so let's get into it. Alright, so after getting the wheel spacer off, which not all of them are going to have, obviously, got this little cover here, which is just some Allen bolts. Now I don't have any kind of impacts or anything like that. I got my trusty 15-year-old Ryobi impact that ain't very good, so otherwise it's just regular Allen wrenches, sockets, whatever. So the good thing about this design is it doesn't have some big bolt like most of them do right here. It does, however, have snap ring I gotta get off real quick. Yeah, I don't know how much of this I'm gonna deal with actually trying to do one-handed and getting grease on my phone, but we'll see. So snap ring, this little thing pulls off. Still got decent grease in it. Looks like it's been wet though. Don't imagine, you know, look at all the mud on everything. Doesn't surprise me. You want to try to keep this crap in order, although going back in, it's pretty self-explanatory. Alright, so here, oh yeah, that's real wet. Should be 3 Phillips screws. Actually, some screwdriver and scrape all this crap out of here. Yeah, you have to burn the grease rag for that one. Really, I should probably get that brake caliper off first before I do this. But instead of a big castle nut, there's just 3 Phillips screws in here. Real simple. So, let me get that caliper off. Alright, so you hear of CV joints doing damage when they break. This one actually tore this bolt up. Didn't break the brake line, luckily. It bent this, but I bent it back, so I'm just gonna have to take the bracket bolts out, which was gonna have to come off anyway. Yeah, it made a little more progress. And brake caliper off. That line is actually tore up from that CV joint moving around, so I'm gonna change it while I got it off. Anytime you do pull a brake caliper off, unless you're just changing the brakes real quick, hang it up. Don't let it just dangle on those lines. Not good for it. So now I can get back to this part. Get that off. I believe that should just slide off. It's been a few years since I messed with it. We'll see. Yep, so like I said, 3 Phillips screwdrivers. Got a little pick thing. Pull that sucker right off. Keep all your stuff together. So, yep, there you go. Now that sucker just spins off. So, find you one of them holes. Now, if you were adjusting your wheel bearings only, you'd pull all this off, spin your drum around, and then just tighten that up till it got tight enough to line the screw holes back up. There you go. See here, that grease looks awful. Now this should just come off, but pretty sure when it does, bearings are coming with it. So let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's set this guy over here. So there's your bearings. These definitely need repacked. Actually, you can see the seal's bad in there, so I go ahead and change all that too. Here's your outler end of the CV boot, which I could just push out here. So it sucks about this one, you can't see it here yet, and I'm probably not gonna be able to do good at all getting a video of it, but you know, this one runs through that shaft there, you know, that tube. So this thing is a pain. And behind that bracket right there on the outside of that tube, this thing has a bearing, a seal, and a snap ring. And you'll end up with about an inch of space to get your snap ring pliers and line everything up when you're taking it off and putting it back on. Then when you get it in there, you got 3 foot of shaft that you gotta line the splines end up just like a PTO. And yeah, it's a bit of a pain. Other side was way easier. So I'll get this off. Probably go and pull my tie rod end off. All this stuff. Let me get all that out of the way. It's pretty simple stuff. Hopefully anyone watching knows how to do. If you don't, tie rod is just this castle nut. Take that off, loosen it almost all the way. Hit that with the sledgehammer. This will be pretty easy. Anyway, I'm gonna get that off and then we'll look at it. Yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and show this for anyone who hadn't actually separated tie rod before. You can buy a tool that goes between here and you hammer in there, a little pickle fork thing. And it usually works decent, but destroys your boot. Which I actually have new of these anyway. But if you're not wanting to destroy the boot, usually loosen this thread up to where it's even with the top of the bolt. Get your good hammer, a little mini Thor hammer. It might take a couple hits. There you go. See? Loose. Simple as that. Same with ball joints in some situations, but we're not taking the ball joints off of this. Alright, so after a little observation, I decided I'm going to try and take this top ball joint off and just let all this fold down. Because I'm pretty sure I didn't take the shocks off when I did it before, because this had different shocks then, so I'm not going to mess with that. Got this off so this can swing. So take that off. Hopefully it'll just kind of fall down and give me the room I need. We'll see. Well, y'all can actually see because the sun is blaring, but ended up putting a jack under it because this thing was wanting to fly off. So you gotta think about safety a little bit, right? Still kind of is. So it's gonna do something here. We'll see. Use my left hand for everything. Alright, so now you see that thing's trying to spin in there. So I have to put you down, hold out the pair of pliers. So yeah, it literally came off of the last thread there. But simple enough. Hopefully I can lower this and give me room to get the jack out of the way. Good deal. That should give us enough room. Well, this should kind of swing wherever we want now. It really didn't give me very much. The ABS thing's still on there, but let's see. So with that out, at least pull this broken piece out. Get it out of the way. And then, now most cars, CV joint snaps in. There's like a snap ring behind this part. But as I explained with that little bearing and other little snap ring and 3 foot of shaft on this one, it ain't like that. So you gotta get that bracket off, which I believe has 2 bolts somewhere else, and I'm almost positive I had to take the freaking steering gearbox off when I did it last time. But yep, that's where we're at now. Got the outside done, you gotta get the inside. So see what happens. Alright, so here's underneath this thing. This is that bracket. Here's your pitman arm, inner tie rod, everything. So this bracket, got a bolt here, which definitely gonna have to turn the wheel to get that out of the way. And one over here. So I believe last time I was never able to get that out because of the room provided here and everything. So, you know, lower that down as much as you can. There's 4 bolts, you know, 1, 2, you can give them from the other side. There's 2 up top. Lower that, get those off, and then that's where you get your little 2-inch, maybe 1-inch space there that you gotta have a lot of fun with and a lot of patience. It's a pain. So the rest of it, last time I did that side, so all this was loose when I did this side. So hopefully I don't have to loosen it to get the play I need, because I need this to drop at least 1 inch or 2. So I'll get in there and get my steering wheel turned and hopefully get enough of a gap here without having to take this one off. Because even if I loosen that, there ain't room to get that out. It don't look like. I don't remember. We'll see. Turn the wheel one way or another, see what it gives me. Alright, sorry for making y'all dizzy there. So, I just took that one out. Had to turn the wheel, get me a gap here. Actually had to use a wrench to get that one. But it's loose. That's a nut on this side, bolt on the top. So, this is all moving now. Already got this one, and the one up here loose. But that one up there you gotta get from the outside after lowering this. So hopefully it's got enough room now to get to it from the outside. So let's see. And oh yeah, got room now. You see that one where it come down. So get that one loose. Get get them all 4 off, I guess. And then I'll show you the most annoying part about this. Alright, well, I got those off from out there. Pretty easy, was able to get to them. No problem. This, probably need to push that bolt out. Probably give me a little room. Crap, what's in here? Oh yeah, I remember this now. There we go. Alright, so it's gonna drip some gear oil. Oh crap, thing turned. Yep. Some very runny gear oil. Well, alright, so I better find something to catch that real quick. Not the most ideal, but it works. And you can see that's still pretty thick. That's alright sign. At least let you know you ain't getting water in there. So, which for what this thing's been through, that's pretty good. I'm happy with it. Also, these are mostly all Rock Auto parts, ball joints, CV joint, and everything. Suggest buying your parts from there. It's way cheaper. Don't buy the cheapest kind, obviously, on there. You know, just kind of pick the middle. But you might be changing your CV joint again in 3 years. Good thing is they warranty it. I just got to take it off, send it back to them. Alright, while that's slowly leaking, I'm going to go ahead and just take this lower ball joint off. Yeah, just give me more room for when I'm putting the new one of those back in and having to do a lot of cussing. Plus, it's bad anyway, and they're only like $5, so might as well change it. So, and I'll say this, after 3 years of abuse, this whole thing's moving. That's loose. All these are loose. So, I'm pretty bad about over tightening stuff whenever I do it, but after 3 years it's like that. I'd say the new ones are getting some Loctite when they go back on. Alright, so end up having to take this ABS bracket off. It's got a bolt right there. It's kind of a pain to get to, not too bad really. Then it goes up through here, connects right here. Relocated this just because it was putting this in a bind. So got this knocked loose with my Thor hammer and just twisting the nut off. Oh, come off. If you had 2 people, any job like this is gonna be so much easier. But sometimes you just gotta do stuff on your. It's a Saturday, no one wants to be working on a car. There we go. Yeah, you can see that ball joint's busted and all that was loose. So I'm glad I noticed that. I'll take that off later. Ain't worried about it right now. That seems to be about done dripping oil. So we'll see. Show you that tight space. It ain't gonna be fun to mess with. Alright, so in there, you can see that bearing and that seal. There's a snap ring on what would be our right side of that bearing. Not much space to work. I think I'm actually gonna take this guy off, which I got a bolt there, 2 over here. Hopefully that'll do it. Give me a little bit more room, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, so annoyingly enough, I am having to take this dang thing off, which means I had to take this other tire off. Got that loose. Hopefully push that bracket out of the way. I'll have enough room to get this off. I had it off before, so surely it should be that easy. Alright, so got that off. Alright, came off there, came off here. Just slid it through the passenger side. You see it over there on the ground, pretty much left it all intact. Now, you gotta pull that out like that. There you go. Oh yeah, I think that's more room than I had last time. Alright, yep. So up there on this side of that bearing, there's a snap ring. You gotta get it loose, get the bearing moved over, and then you see that seal on the back side. You gotta walk all that off, kind of hold it here in place. Well, actually, coming out, it'll pull itself out. Going back in, you gotta hold it with your finger while you slide in. Going in's definitely a 2-person job if you can do it, but I'm gonna go ahead and get that snap ring off and get that sucker out of there, and that'll be as much as I can do today until I get the new parts. Alright, let's go ahead and see if I can one-hand this. So this just showing you I got that snap ring partially off. Also got a crappy pair of snap ring pliers. Do yourself a favor, get some good ones. Those ones that, like that, you can change the fittings out, but they don't help you when you're in a tight space as good as just a regular pair. So, let's see if we can just pop that off. There you go. Alright, I got that. There's your snap ring, bearing. There we go. And the seal. And it's gonna come when I start pulling on it either way, but I'd rather not break it if I can help it. Thing is, there's a lip on that. Looks like it's ate up too, so I might just have to change it anyway. Yeah, alright, well, let's see if I can just pull on that CV joint. It'll all come out maybe. Moving a little. This might be real helpful with another set of hands. And give it a good jerk. Nope. That's that dang seal. If I could reach my bigger pliers, might work better. Or screwdriver, I mean. This little Harbor Freight one is not liking it. Oh. Alright, looks like it started a new video again. Alright, so there's the reason that seal is so hard to get off. There's still another snap ring on there that I obviously forgot about. So here's how this thing goes. You know, this seal was on that side of it, and then this bearing, and then this snap ring, all going through this bracket with that little bit of room. So yeah, I'll get the new one and put all this back together, and hopefully it'll help somebody. Alright, so I got the new parts. Gonna start getting this back together and get what I can on video for you as I go along. So here's the new CV axle. Got new bearings, new seals. So I have to, you know, put the seal on, run it down, snap ring, then the bearing, and then the other snap ring. All while putting it through here, holding that bracket up in between there while I do it. Really ain't gonna be no way for me to get a video of that, but y'all seen how it looked coming off, so you can just kind of imagine the reverse order. So this is them sitting on there. Obviously this is going to go in here, but it's just to show you: seal, snap ring, bearing, snap ring. Got it all kind of up in there. Now the problem is, you know, you got 2 foot of shaft, and that spline end has to go into your gears up here. So I'm hung on that, so I'm just gonna have to keep wiggling it around until I can get that spline end to line up where it's supposed to be. But for that, I gotta get all this stuff set. Alright, so there it is, going back on. End up having to take this shock off and hold that up with a zip tie to kind of keep it level. And so now all I gotta do is push it in there, get those bolts in, get the bolts on top, and start putting everything else back together. Alright, well, that's all back on. A little harder than I was hoping it would be. I just gotta hook that vent tube back up, put my tie rod in back across, tighten up my pitman arm, everything, put the new ball joint back on, change the brake line, and put the wheel bearings back in. Should be good to go. Alright, so my phone went dead yesterday while I was finishing it up, but you can see there it is finished. New CV axle, got the new brake line on. It turned out pretty well. I hadn't really test drove it other than driving it around the yard, but overall it probably took about 5.5 hours to do. Could have been less if I had just took the shock off in the beginning and ball joints and everything. Speaking of which, there's a new ball joint. But hopefully this video will help somebody.